Hello, beautiful people. Today, I'm going to make a very short video about what to bring with you on your first Sesshin. Sesshin is obviously a week-long, intensive Zen meditation retreat, and every place is different, obviously. And I just wanted to give my tips and tricks for your first Sesshin. The first thing that I would recommend is obviously, if it's your first time, you probably do not have your Zen attire yet because you're deciding whether or not Zen is the right thing for you, probably. So I would highly recommend bringing in long pants, comfortable pants, a little bit on the loose side, but not too loose to fall off, obviously. So you wanted to use um, very subtle colors. Black is good, um, dark gray is good, but the best really is navy blue. Navy blue seems to be the color of Zen. A lot of people like that. It's very important because you want to wear the color of clothing that does not distract other people, or even yourself. If you have your sandals in very colorful, bright, colorful full sandals and it's right in front of you, it might be distracting. So long sort of cotton pants would be good. If you have any other thing, khakis or anything that you like, that you have tried on back home while meditating works for you, that's great. But I would definitely stick with darker colors, very neutral colors, and preferably no logos, because again, you want to keep the coolness of the Zendo and keep um, focused on your meditation. And so you don't want to wear something that might be distracting. Number two is a pair of good sandals. Now, that's very important. You want to wear sandals that are obviously comfortable, but you can slip on and off. You don't want to tie shoes. You don't want to undo zips, anything like that. Because in some sashins, you literally have maybe 2 seconds to put on your slippers, your sandals, to go from the Zendo to the dining hall. And everybody's in line. It's very strict. So you want something that you can put on and off. Sandals are the best. If you have anything that slips on and off, that's what you want. You don't want anything that needs tying up or untying, that sort of thing, because that would be a hindrance. But a good pair of sandals are very good. I don't like flip-flops. I've used flip-flops before, but when you do a lot of walking during kinhin, which is the walking meditation, it sort of irritates your foot maybe. If you wear sandals all the time, hey, by all means. Sorry, if you wear flip-flops all the time, a lot of Zen students wear it. It's sort of more or less a Japanese traditional thing to wear, but make sure they're comfortable. I do not wear flip-flops, the black and white ones. I like sandals, and they seem to be working well for me. So sandals are a must, and make sure they're comfortable, and make sure that if they get wet, make sure they're like sort of either plastic or a leather, because you might be outside and might get wet. You don't want them to stay wet for an extended period of time. That's something to keep in mind. Um, so the other thing that I would recommend taking with you your first session, particularly if you're not a vegetarian, is either Pepto Bismol tablets or liquids. Pepto Bismol is something that is for indigestion or diarrhea, that sort of thing. You may not need it, but I know on my first session I struggled a little bit because I was not used to the high fiber sort of black rice and black beans together meal. The food is usually wonderful, but for me it was very difficult. So I would recommend, and by the grace of God, there was like a half a small bottle of Pepto Bismol there, and it made wonders. So I personally would take one of those with me. You can also use something called the daily fiber thing, because you're sitting for an extended period of time, and there might be some issues, but it's not common. But again, if you're not used to vegetarian meals, that might be an issue. I actually have it wherever I go. Whenever I travel, I have tablets, so I can pass through the airport of Pepto Bismol, and they're very useful. So that's something else to keep in mind. Another thing to keep in mind, you want shoes that you can work outside with. Yes, part of the meditation or daily meditation, usually after breakfast, is a work period where you meditate on working outside, usually gardening, pulling weeds, um, mopping the floors, washing the toilets, that sort of thing. But very often it's outside. So make sure that the shoes that you bring are something that you can wear outside. Um, and it can be raining the whole time, some places, uh, particularly Pacific Northwest, in that area. There's a lot of rain. So make sure you bring boots that you can work in the mud with, and also some sort of raincoat or something that you can wear if it's raining outside. Maybe a windbreaker if that's enough. You're not going to be working all day outside, but you're working about maybe an hour and a half to two outside. Now, if you have any issues where you cannot work outside, or you don't have maybe the proper attire, maybe your luggage got lost or something, do not worry. You can talk to the person in charge, and they you can work inside. There's a lot of work to be done in the kitchen, cleaning, peeling vegetables, that sort of thing, or cleaning bathrooms, hallways, that sort of thing. So do not worry about those things, but it's very important to have a pair of shoes where you can work outside. Many places it rains a lot during the Sesshin, and that's fine. That's even increases our motivation to meditate. So that's another thing to keep in mind. Obviously, one of the most important things is to have earplugs, but every single place that I've been to in the bathroom, they have an abundance of earplugs, because some places you get your own room. If it's a small place, if you have 100 plus people, 50 plus people, you usually have a dorm room, which is wonderful actually. I never went to the hostels when I was traveling, so I paid a lot for hotels and that sort of thing. But when I went to one of my early sessions, I had to sleep on a bunk bed with 8 other people, 8 other people, and it's actually not as bad as you may think. The first time is might be awkward because you're not used to it, but I love it now. Now, whenever I travel, I go to the hostel, and that's not an issue at all. It saves me money, and I really enjoy it. So, don't worry if you have to share rooms with others. They're usually separated. Men have their own rooms and dorms. Women have their own. And if there's an issue, you can always talk to somebody about that. Warm clothes are important too. So you want to bring long sleeves. That's another thing. If you're at a Zendo, which is the meditation hall, you usually have to wear a long sleeve. And as I said, they have to be darker colors. Navy blue is very good. Black is just good. Gray is kind of okayish if you have nothing else. But you want to go with darker, neutral colors. And no hoodies. You can have a hoodie, but you have to tuck it in somehow. And no logos, obviously, for obvious reasons. Another thing that I take with me is usually a small notebook that fits in the palm of my hand. And the reason why I say it has to be small, it's just about this big. So is that I can put it in my pocket. And you're not supposed to read, write um, at all during the sesshin. That's a very important rule. But if I go to my sanzen, which is short interview with a teacher, and I mean very short, with the bigger places, you get maybe 90 seconds, and that's all you need very often. I like to write down what the teacher says, particularly one Japanese teacher that I work with a few times a year. I like to write down what he says. And so I usually have a small notebook that I put in my pocket with a pen. No cell phones allowed, obviously. So you take it with you, and I have it in my pocket, and I do my bows and entrance and sanzen, which is a daily interview with a teacher. And as soon as I get out, right away, I pick up the pen, the notebook, and I write down the date, sanzen, and what was said. And I really enjoy it because even weeks and months later, sometimes I think about it and look it up, and lo and behold, it all makes sense. So that's something else that I take with me. Now, when it comes with food, there's usually a person or two people in charge. They're called tasharios, or in other some places they call it gasho, um, for whatever reason. But tashario is basically a person that looks after the well-being of the needs of the students and and the people there. So you can always ask them questions if you need anything, and you can probably email them earlier on or inquire. But the one thing is about your diet. So the food is usually vegetarian, not always vegan, but everything is vegan. But they might have something that might not be vegan, but they have all options. So, for example, in one place, evenings is bread, cheese, and peanut butter, jam, butter, and um, and that sort of thing. So and salad, but there's also some occasional eggs. So it's vegetarian, but it's usually very very good, very simple and very good. And somehow when you meditate for hours a day, really, the food tastes better, but also you're not obsessed with what you're eating or you're not eating because you're focused, hopefully, on your practice. Having said that, if you have any dietary needs, I would advise you to, like 2 weeks before, 3 weeks before, contact the center and say, hey, I cannot eat this kind of food, that kind of food. If you have a sort of blood sugar issues, if you have allergies, if you have any religious things that may interfere with your diet, please do let them know. But again, in advance, and you might want to just double check with them before also. Some places you can bring your own food, but that's I would not recommend it because you don't want everybody to bring their own snacks. But I sometimes bring protein bars with me. Why? Because I have a high protein diet, so I can have it in my room if it's a lot, and I just have one or two a day to supplement my meals because I don't really eat a lot of carbs. Um, so double check with them, and if you have any issues, make sure you double check with the center, and they're usually very very accommodating. The only thing that I would just mention is you don't want to get too obsessed with the food, right? It's only 1 week. You just want to focus on your practice, and you don't want to be eating avocados while everybody else is eating whatever is being served. So please keep that in mind. But if you have anything that you need, by all means reach out and ask them. um, Transportation, obviously you want to make sure you have the right transportation. That's very important, and let them know ahead of the time, um, because some places you cannot reach without someone actually giving you a ride. So, did I leave anything out? I don't know. But the most important thing is to bring your attitude with you, the right attitude, the one of openness, the one of dedication, the one of courage and love for your practice, and the one of, as my teacher says, um, being open to the unknown. In Zen, it is said that not knowing is the best knowing. So I know from experience that quite often jittering comes up just before you go to a session. You might want to cancel it. You might even go there and not want to go inside. It took me a long time for me to get into the building, even though we always with somebody else who drove me. It's all good. And remember this, please. The best session that you will have is the one that you show up for. That's what my yoga teacher says. It says the best class is the one that you show up for, because many, 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 99.9 other people do not attend either the yoga class or the session. So it will be fine. And the people at the Zen centers, if it's a authentic Zen center, are the most loving and some of the most of the kindest, most loving and kindest people I have ever met. So I think that's it. That should be enough to get you going. If you have any questions or concerns, by all means, send me a message and I will do my best to answer it for you. All right, take care. Have a wonderful week and talk to you next time.